Welcome everyone tonight to We the People of Eastern Kentucky. My name is Terry V. Salyer and I'll be your host tonight. And Cody can't be with us this evening because he had a prior commit with his family, but we're going to miss him, that's for sure, because we love to hear his insight and things. We have some special guests with us this evening from Serenity House, and it's an organization we're going to discuss and talk about a few things. And we have Tiffany here, and we also have Hannah, and they're going to share some of the things and responsibilities they do and try to encourage people throughout Eastern Kentucky to maybe help support their organization or just to find out what they do. And it may be something that might be an advantage to you and all that kind of deal. So we're going to get into that here in a little bit. We'd like to thank our sponsors tonight. Naturally, Appalachian Insider. They're really great to be able to host us here and We the People of Eastern Kentucky. We have also BML Business Alliance, and any need that you have as far as business coaching, marketing, anything like that, you can get a hold of me, and we'll be able to fulfill probably anything that you need as far as anything with business growth, things of that nature. And we have some other great people. We'd like to thank Mr. Pete Shepard here at the McGoffin County Health Department. They are so gracious to allow us to be able to come in here and do our podcast every week. So we want to thank Pete and his staff here and just have a great time every week. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest tonight from Serenity House. And they're a great organization, and we want to be able to spend time with them just to explain who they are, where they are, their reach, and how they can be able to impact the three impacts that we have in We the People of Eastern Kentucky. Number one is economic development. Number two is community involvement, and I'm sure the ladies will talk about that a little bit tonight. And the other is political impact. So tonight we want to be able to impact our communities with this organization and give them an opportunity to be able to promote themselves and just tell people out there what they do. So without further ado, ladies, I'd like to welcome you all. And Serenity House. Now, you all are located in Inez, Kentucky. Is that correct?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
We've been there for, I believe, around 10 years.
10 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What does Serenity House basically do? Explain a little bit about what you all do.
We are a substance abuse rehabilitation center for pregnant women or women with children under the age of 6.
Right.
They bring their children to the facility so they can attend substance abuse rehab with their children. And I think it does really well because a lot of women don't feel comfortable leaving their children to come to that facility for an extended amount of time.
So it's actually a place where they can come and stay. You know, you provide living facilities and things like that for them. Great, great. That's super. Are you all?
To the food.
Go ahead, Tim.
Even right down to the food they eat.
Is that right?
We provide that transportation to appointments.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's a big service, particularly, and it's a little bit more specific than a lot of agencies, but there's a tremendous need out there, I'd say, for that. Tell me a little bit about funding and this and that. How do you do that? Are you nonprofit? Are you state supported? Do you do private foundation things? Just tell me how you all get your money to be able to function and do what you do.
Grants.
Grants? Okay.
Grants. We accept Medicaid insurance for clients.
Oh, okay.
Unite and CORE are one of our major funding.
Great.
I know that we are a nonprofit organization as well.
And you've been around 10 years nonprofit, so you rely on mainly the grant programs to be able to help. How big a staff do you all have and stuff like that, Serenity House?
Around 15.
15 people?
Give or take, yeah.
What's some of the jobs or the tasks or positions that you have there or whatever?
Our first would be our community support associates. These are people, whether they are men or women. We mostly hire women, but because mostly that's who wants to work with women and children.
Sure. Now, are they all hired as far as people in your staff, or is there any volunteers or any to help you? Or
we don't have any volunteers at the moment.
Oh, okay.
We only have our staff.
We take donations.
Oh, okay, great.
but it's mostly hard work.
I understand. Yeah, great.
Our community support associates, they are people that have not been addicts in the past. They help out a whole lot. They teach our girls basic living skills like laundry. They help cooking, help disciplining children, guidance with that. They help with our transport. We have peer support, and they are people that have been addicts in the past, but now they're working programs of recovery.
Right.
And they help the girls with their step work through NA or AA. And they know with their distorted thinking where the girls are coming at, and they kind of help guide us that haven't been addicts, because I'm a little bit naive to it. They kind of help guide us in ways to interact. That's positive.
Yeah.
We have counselors there, and
are they certified counselors or anything? They're certified. Okay, yes. Great. Super.
They want TC80C, if I'm saying that correctly. Drug and alcohol counselors. And then I'm the registered nurse there, and then we have Terry Dotson. She's our clinical director.
Now, so you got a staff of 15. I'm sure when you have to feed people and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot that goes into that. What are some of the other positions, would you say, there are other than counselors and administration like you all?
We're down a caseworker right now.
Oh, so you have caseworkers as well?
Yeah, we like to have two. We don't actually have one right now, but we're working on it.
Okay.
And that about covers it.
So that's good.
Peer support. Our lead peer support specialist has been in recovery for almost 20 years.
Is that right?
Wow. It's amazing.
Well, it's to me, that is unique to me. To be as specific as you all are as dealing with, pregnant mothers or mothers with young children. When you look in substance abuse, I'm very familiar with Tim Robinson at ARC and, what they do. And also Mountain Comp does a lot more things other than be as specific as you all. And so it's really kind of neat to know that service or that availability is out there. Are a lot of your clients and stuff like that, what's their age limits or whatever? Does that vary a lot? Are they younger or are they older, or what do you see?
Oh, they vary in age.
All across.
Yes.
Is that right?
I mean, from 18 to 47.
Yeah. Is that right? Well, see, that's the thing that impacts me, and a lot of people out there may not know that. They may be later on in their life and not have children or whatever, or get involved with, the situations. And it's great to know that you have a wide variety that you can focus on, not just young teens or early 20s, but all through the gamut there. That's great. That's what we talk about at We the People of Eastern Kentucky, is the impact that you can make in our communities. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there today that don't know that this service is there, that they might be able to take advantage of. So if I am a potential client, how can I find you all, or what can I do? Do you have websites, numbers?
There is a QRT team with Mountain Comprehensive Care.
Okay.
If somebody is, let's say, arrested and it's a substance related arrest, sometimes law enforcement will contact the QRT and they will do a referral for that client to our program. And they can sometimes avoid a arrest and a charge if they come to treatment at that point. You can also get on SAMHSA, and it is the National Drug Administration, and they can help you find treatment if it's just an online .com.
Do you all have a website or something like that people could go to look at?
Yes.
Okay.
We have Mountain Comprehensive Care
Okay.
through them
Okay.
on their website,
All right.
and we're down in the residential treatments.
Are there any other agencies, or I should say locations, that do similar things that you do? Are you specific, just like for, say, like in Inez and Martin County, or do you, how far do you encompass,
The whole
that you
state.
can reach? Is that right?
Yes, we go from
Really?
Inez
We
to
can
Paducah.
accept-
Really?
Yep, we
Oh,
can
my
accept
goodness.
anyone from Kentucky.
Yes.
Really?
Mhm.
And they
we
come
will
to your
actually-
facility there
We
in
will go and
Inez?
pick them up
Wow.
if they need transported.
Yeah.
To the facility.
So do you deal with the court systems at all, or how do you, so that's how you
Yes.
work? See, we had CASA on not too long ago, and they were telling us about how they work with the court systems and things like that, and judge execs in that particular area, and how they will, be able to place children, that in foster homes and things of that nature. And Cody Allen, my co-host, he works for the state of Kentucky, and he works in social services and things too, so we have kind of a burden for that and a heart for that. And, it's great to see, especially how far that you can encompass. I know CASA, for instance, they're in, I think now they're 7th County, and they're just picking up McGoffin County July the 1st. They'll be working with the legal system here on that. So we were kind of doing that as a catapult to them to let people know. But, I mean, my goodness, here you guys cover all over the state. It's pretty awesome. What do you have, like, numbers right now? How many that are in your organization that you provide services for right now, would you say?
We currently have 3 clients at this
3 clients right now?
3 clients at this time.
Good.
They all 3 have toddlers.
Yes.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
We can house up to 8 mothers, and
That's good.
the children, that we don't limit, as long as they have full custody of their children or some type of custody agreement. We don't limit the amount of children that can come in.
Well, that's good. See, I like that aspect because, people sometimes have things come up in their life and they go a certain direction. And one of the first thing everybody wants to do is take their kids.
Yes.
I know, and, I'm talking to the CASA people, and then also dealing with judge execs, which my background, I have a lot with that. Foster care is pretty tough. And I've seen a lot of friends of mine as I went through college and things that had foster care experience. And, it's good to see that maybe those children can stay with their mother, and be with them. So that's hats off to you all again, because that's, family to me is everything, and that's part of the fabric, I think, it makes we the people of Eastern Kentucky, people in our area, great, because we have a heritage of family. People want to take care of each other and stuff, and that is the objective of our program, is to not only introduce people to new groups and agencies like you all, but to try to support that, and that's what we do. What we try to do is to get the word out, and so you guys are be commended on that. 10 years, long time. So how long have you all been there and working with?
I'm coming up on 5 years.
Is that right? Wow. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, that's all right.
Oh, I'm coming up on 3.
Is that right? So, 3 and 5 years anymore is pretty decent, with a company or organization, this and that. What keeps you there? Any personal experiences, any wonderful things that happened to you that, I know I've worked with young people for a long time, and I work with them in the church setting. And then also, one of the things I've always done is worked in children's theater of all ages, all the way through high school, and even some college students. But I enjoy working with kids. That's been rewarding for me. And one of the greatest things that I have is one of the students I remember, because I always had a ploy that if you audition for a show and you have the guts to get up there and audition, well, guess what? I'm going to put you in somewhere. And I've had so many kids in my past that could not even speak at an audition, let alone sing or whatever. And we've put them up there, and now some of them are working for agencies like you, working with kids. So that's my boost or my reward to see that, well, maybe there's a little bit of Terry in, some of these individuals out there. So I know what keeps you there.
The team that we have there, they're the best team to work with. Can't say one negative thing about them, only positive.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing. They're compassionate, and helping these girls, just helping plant a little mustard seed for them.
Good.
I mean, maybe they get out and they have a problem, they relapse, but they will call us and they'll tell us, "Hey, I relapsed. Will you come get me?" Being a positive interaction for them, knowing they have a safe place to come to, is also amazing.
That's really good. Yeah.
We actually had a client relapse not too long ago, and she called, just like Hannah said there, "Can you come and get me? Because I know you guys will love me until I can love myself."
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And that is like probably one of the most touching things for me.
You see that you're making a difference in people's lives.
Definitely.
Yes.
It takes an average of 7 times in treatment for someone to stay sober.
Is that right?
Yes.
7 times.
7 times.
It's almost like in sales, you got to hit somebody up 6 times before they say yes or whatever,
Right.
So you got to stay with it. You got to be dedicated and committed to it.
Like 90 days, 120 days. Go out, relapse, come back and do it again. 120 days, go out, relapse, come back and do it 7 times. I mean,
wow.
If you just sit and think about that, that's a lot.
It's amazing. Do you have any particular programs that you guys incorporate? I know some agencies use the AA platform or whatever, but do they teach you all like a method from Mountain Comp to be able to deal with the clients that you have, or?
We do many different trainings. Our program, we do focus on NA and AA a lot.
Okay.
But that does not mean that if it doesn't work for somebody, we do not push it down their throat at the same time.
Right.
But we go through a lot of trainings, and we do. I don't know. It's just we go through CBT. We try to incorporate trauma-focused care.
Okay.
With the clients.
That's the biggest thing we saw.
Yes.
Just trauma?
Trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma is what triggers an addiction.
Is that right? Wow. Sometimes we don't get into the nuts and bolts, and I like to and things, but narcotics and things like that is pretty prevalent that we have, with the opioid situation here in Eastern Kentucky. But I have a tendency to feel that our people are strong-willed. They come from a great heritage. They're hard workers. I remember the days when I was a little feller out there hoeing the beans and the corn with Papa, and all that. So I really think probably it takes a fortitude like that to be able to overcome something. I've had some friends of mine, when I played ball in college, and I would say that they were borderline addicts or whatever, and I saw what that did to their life. They just really didn't have control, and it's really tough to develop that. Is there, what keeps you there versus you Hannah, you said you're a nurse, right?
Yes.
Well, you could go to any of these hospitals and whatever, because they need nurses right now. Is there something that draws you to this type of work rather than being in a hospital setting or whatever?
Yes. I prefer to work with substance abuse.
Okay.
And
do you feel a calling to that? Is that a special thing you think in your life, or what really got you to focus in that direction, you think?
I really believe the impact that recovery has had on my life. I've had many family members that are affected by addiction,
yes.
And few do recovery and few don't. I can see it change their life overnight. It really does save their life, and it saves the family's life. I just really enjoy that group of people. They get a really negative rap, negative stigma that comes with addiction, and really deep down, they're good people. Most people are. They're really good people. They just had really bad circumstances.
Sure.
And they just have went in a negative path. And it really doesn't align with who they are whenever they are sober and clean.
I look at things and it's so close. When I was in college, I'm a corrections minor. So I went into a lot of the prison system and things of that nature. And it just absolutely grabbed at my heart to see when I would talk to correctional officers and things, like we went to Eddyville one time where we went down where the electric chair was, and they gave us goggles to put on, and like they had 150 light bulbs around us, and they got us in a room and they said, put your goggles on, and they flipped the switch, and man, it was as bright, you thought you were in heaven, And I asked the guy, I said, how in the world could you pull a switch on any of these people? He said, Terry, you work here 2 weeks, you would. So, I'm looking at how close am I to this? One wrong direction or one wrong decision that I make, this could be a consequence of my life, and things. So it's very difficult, when people face those crossroads of, the decisions they make. And I always try to instill in my kids, look, for every decision you make in life, there's going to be a consequence. You're going to impact somebody else. So before you make that decision, make sure that you understand what the consequences are that come from that. Okay, Tiffany, tell us a little bit about you, your background, education, or how long you worked in this field. Why did you choose this field? Because just like we said, it's a tough field.
I am the women's coordinator at Serenity House. Before that, I was a community support associate. Okay. I do have a degree in human services. Right. I've always wanted to be a counselor since middle school.
Really?
I've always found, I don't know if I'm easy to talk to or what, but people love to tell me their problems, and I enjoy listening. And I probably am a little bit too empathetic because, Hannah tells me, man, I had a flat tire and I don't really have the money to fix it, or, just little things. I'll pack it with me. I do have a downfall there, but then again, it's who I am, and I wouldn't know how to be any other way, and I don't know that I would want to be any other way. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
I give it a lot to my grandmother, who's now passed, the way I was raised.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier.
The biggest thing that we look at in life and those choices that we make, in the directions. I remember I went to Poland, and in Poland you have orphanages. There's no social service. And once kids graduate from high school, they're automatically removed from the orphanage, and they're basically on their own. So a gentleman I was working with, the ministry he had over there, he was actually going to the length of finding them a job, because they give them 3,000 rubles or whatever that is, and that's all they get, and they're turned out in the street, and it's a tough thing. But the point that I'm getting at is there was a gentleman over all the youth programs in Poland. And big old staunch guy. You can imagine what, some of the European guy, big brushy, eyebrows and all this. And he can be kind of intimidating, I guess so. But my friend Mel and I went in there, and we sit down at the desk similar to this. And he looked across from me and said, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, sir, we are here to do something for you." One of the greatest attributes, I think, Tiffany, is listening. Some people like me have got blabberjaws and they want to talk all the time, but the ability and the gift and the talent, people just need someone to speak to them and to listen. And he said, you are the first Westerner that has ever walked into my office, because most of them that do, they got a plan and they're going to do this, and it's going to make a difference in our people's lives and all that. But he said, you came in here and you asked me, what can I do to help? And to me, listening is such a wonderful quality. And my lovely wife a lot of times don't think I listen too much either. I don't have much patience or whatever. But good for you. That's all I got to say. I mean, that's a neat quality in life and the ability. And you two are very gifted ladies, I guess you could say. What can community people and community sport help support Serenity House? Is there anything they can do to help you, educate people about you? Do you do any fundraisers, things of that nature, where you try to raise maybe additional funds to do some things? Or do you work with any community organizations in Inez or in Martin County or wherever? Or what can they do to get involved and to help you all?
To get involved with us is to let anybody that needs to hear about us, okay, so they can get help, receive treatment.
Good.
Even if they just call us and they need some help finding a resource, that would be fine. We can help them with that. And what do you think?
We do community outreach.
Do you?
We go out, we set up, we go to festivals.
So you have tables you'll set up at conferences and things of that nature?
Yeah,
good,
we did
good.
Eastern Kentucky Recovery Conference.
Oh, okay.
Back in March.
And where was that at?
The Mountain Arts Center.
Mountain Arts Center? Great, great.
All those types of things were there. There was an event just today, that we donated food to. We get involved with as much as we can. And then the festivals and fairs will be set up at the Perry County Fair.
Oh, okay. In Hazard down there.
Yeah, this weekend.
Hazard's got a lot of great organizations that people don't really know about. I mean, we had, CASA being one, but we're going to talk to another gentleman. We did a guy 2 weeks ago that does the foundation down there, and Zach Hall, he was super individual. But I'm saying, guys, you all do a great work, but we got to tell people about you. We want to get this out here.
Yes.
So, and then we're going to have another gentleman, Daryl Parker, that is and does a lot of work with high school students down there. And he's actually in Washington, D.C. I hit him up, said, Daryl, when we're going to get you on the podcast? And he said, well, I'm in D.C. right now. He's down there for one of the civil rights things. And he said, well, put me down for the second week in July. So, we got him scheduled. And so that's important. I think getting out there and letting people know and doing conferences and things, with my business, I do consulting, and I'm out there working with businesses all the time. So naturally they said, well, Terry, how can we grow and how can we get bigger and how can people know about us? So that's what I help them do, is to be able to see where their business is and, what they can do and what they offer products and services. But it doesn't beat getting out there on yourself, your 2 feet. You can say everything, you can paint the picture as wonderful as it can be, but they've got to get out there and you got to push it. So, and let people know what you do and stuff, and that's great. So what do you see in the future for Serenity House? What's your 5-year goal, or have you got anything like that, or you want to be able to do more services, or you want to stay specific in the chain, I guess, of what you all do? What's kind of the vision for the future?
Our goal is to expand the program, to do lower levels of care. We don't know where that's going to be because there's a lot of community resources that we have to do this. But we would like to do lower levels of care and help the girls, just help them get back on their feet more, be less in a restricted area, and be more out in the community while they're still obtaining their sobriety and recovery.
I know when I was in my younger years, I was the associate pastor at First Baptist Church in Ashland. And as you can see, Ashland's very close to the river. And we had some good organizations there. We had the Salvation Army was there, and we had probably 2 or 3 churches, this and that. But one of my biggest things, and to be quite honest with you, was not something that I sought out, but there was about 50 people that lived under the bridge there, crossing over to go into Ohio. And one of the big things that they knew that they could always go see Terry if they knew they needed a breakfast, because the Episcopal church down here had breakfast every day. They knew if they needed a dinner, well, Second Baptist Church on down 32nd Street was going to give them a meal that night. And then the Salvation Army, I knew I could call them up for individuals, and I could get them 30 days of staying somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so basically that was giving them a kickstart, for 30 days in their life. They could have 2 meals a day and then have a place to stay that would be safe and all that versus, what they were before. And then we had an agency come in a little bit later, and they actually offered to find employment for these people. Those that, went through some, treatment programs and this and that, and they worked at the hospital there at King's Daughters a lot, in Wendy's, or, some kind of food capacity or whatever. So that's why I asked you that question. I know you're doing a great service right now, taking care of these, young ladies and stuff and their kids. But their vision up there, and it fell in my lap. I mean, go up and see Mr. Terry, because they knew that I could get them 30 days of, trying to get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. And that was, it was very rewarding for me. And it was something that I didn't do myself or seek that out. It just kind of falls in your lap. The good Lord has some things like that He can bring your way. He does. Very mysterious ways, doesn't He?
Our coordinator's ultimate goal, director, I should say, mm-hmm. Is to actually have one of our clients who complete the program come back and work at the program.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Be on the staff.
Yeah.
And that time period of sobriety used to be 2 years, now it's 1. Mm-hmm. So after they complete the program, stay sober for a year, they can actually come back and apply.
That's great.
To work for Serenity House, and that is her ultimate goal. I mean, she wants that so bad. Yeah. Nobody's done it yet.
Well, I see a lot of people at ARC do that, that have gone through their program. They'll come back and actually go to work for them.
Yes.
Yeah. We touched upon it a little bit, and I guess I brought it up, but do you see any spiritual aspects in what you all do?
Yes.
Is that important to Serenity House's, the spiritual part of your programming or whatever? Do you incorporate or use that at all? Or?
We do. The spiritual aspect of it. We do believe that it's everybody's own choice to make their own choice about that.
Sure.
But we always encourage them to work on it, help them find whatever resources we can to help them develop that. Being in addiction, we think it's a really spiritual disease process, mm-hmm. And helping them with the spiritual aspect of it, it helps them a lot dealing with their mental health mm-hmm. as well, mm-hmm. and they can usually gain some confidence in themselves.
That's great. That's great. Everything that we do, a lot of times it's got to happen from within. Everybody mm-hmm. can tell us. Preach at us all the time. At least that's what my kids say. Okay, Dad, get off the soapbox, But I've found out that in life, the things that are worthwhile are the things that come from within. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because like I said before, I work with kids a lot. And in the theater business, there's 2 ways of learning theater or learning how to be an actor. One is the Stravinsky method, which is you just basically go through the motions and then finally you become that character. And then the other is you become the character within, and it comes out in your actions and the feelings that you have and stuff. So, it's really important, I think, is the analytical phase of dealing particularly with mothers. I know I used to coach in Ashland at an elementary school down there, Crab Elementary, and probably 93% of the students there were from single parent homes. Yeah, and there were nights that I had to chase some of my ball players out of Central Park down there because they had no place to go, and it really breaks your heart to see that foundation, that a lot of times that they need from the parents itself, and I'm sure Do you have that with your alls? Do you see that in this world that we have today? Is there a lot of ladies that are by themselves, or their life, or them and their kids, or where do you see the male figure in their life, I guess, right now?
Normally the male figure is a very negative role.
Is that
with
right?
These ladies,
Okay.
yes. We have told these ladies whenever they had relapsed and came back to the program, almost, I would say 95% of the time, it's due to the male relationship that they have.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, their partnership.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is very prevalent.
Is that prevalent?
Very.
I was going to ask you, how did these ladies get there? Basically, what are they coming from? And is there a pattern to that you see, or whatever?
Yes, it is a cycle, whether it may be from their family, a generational cycle of addiction and violence. Usually they come hand in hand. Many of these ladies have been through sexual assault, sexual trauma, any type of physical, mental trauma. They have had a lot of their life is really controlled. And once they kind of get there, they experience some freedom, and that's also a very scary part for them. Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
We always encourage, there's a lot of codependencies in these relationships, and we always try to encourage them to back away from it, don't go back to it. Unfortunately, it sometimes persists for these women and their children.
I hate to ask this question, but I think I've really got to. I know we talk and we focus on the mothers a lot, but what do you see the impact to the children? Particularly of, maybe having a mother that's, addicted, or, has a abuse problem. Tell me a little bit about the kids. How did they respond? They may be too young or whatever, but do you think that has an impact on their life of what they could be or what they want to be or whatever? What do you see?
The children, a lot of the times whenever moms come in with their children, children's are behind developmental milestones.
Okay.
And they're very timid, or sometimes they act out. Whenever mom stays, she's consistent with her treatment. She's consistent with parenting the children. The children usually calm down and they're relaxed, able to play.
Wow.
We see a lot of, if they have multiple children, we see a lot of the older children parenting the younger children. And
yeah, it was curious to me to see the roles. That's, because you see things on TV. Here is the, abusive, mom and this and that, and addiction and all, and you see some kids lash out, and you see some kids just go off into the corner and stuff. So I know that that could be a big impact on them. What do we do at Serenity House maybe to help those kids? What is there programs you do for them as well, similar to their mother, or how do you handle those kids or whatever?
We have, is it early childhood development? Her name is Holly Williamson.
Oh, okay. So you have a staff person just for that?
We do.
Great.
Yes. We have multiple, actually. We have a children's coordinator.
Really?
Our
Good.
children's
Who
coordinator.
works directly with the children.
That's awesome.
Yes.
A huge curriculum. I mean, really awesome curriculum that she works with the children on. And then we also offer daycare, outsourced daycare. And school-age children will actually go ahead and keep them
do some
enrolled,
tutoring and all that kind of
stuff.
Wow.
And that way they learn consistency in their routines.
We are trying to, they're in the process of doing the assessment and getting the equipment, but they're going to equip the facility with sensory needs.
Yes.
And that's really important for a lot of our children.
We're really excited about that.
A lot of our children maybe have autism disorder, or they might just have sensory needs that hasn't been fulfilled with mom being in active addiction. And that sensory, we are very excited for that sensory station.
I know, reflecting back as you all speak and things and talk about kids and the programs you got, it's so awesome to be able, we always want to complain. We always want to be negative, but I always, one of the things in my life is, sometimes you need to be. Sometimes people need to speak up, and they need to hear their voice. But when you do, have a solution.
Yes.
And I was taught, not at a young age, but I was taught by a youngster one time. I had a boy that I coached there in Ashland, and tremendous athlete, great. Our team depended on him. So all of a sudden, he didn't show up for a game. Well, we got trounced because he wasn't there. And I run into him the next day at school, and I said, "Oh my goodness, where in the heck were you at? Don't you know how much we needed you?" And he looked up to me and he said, "Coach, I had to go to my mom's bedside at King's Daughters because they had to pump her stomach where she OD'd." And you talk about somebody coming down to earth real quick, about how we have to listen and we have to understand the circumstances before even we speak. I wanted him there. The team wanted him there, but and I told him, I said, "You know what? You're exactly where you needed to be." Because he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to miss his ball game, but he was there with his mom, and to me, it was a life lesson for me, so before you speak, or you need to ask why and what happened, the circumstances. And so that taught me a very dear lesson, I think, in life and stuff. So it is awesome that you guys are working with the mothers to be able to help them, cope with their addiction. But not only that, but you reach into the live lessons and things of these kids. And usually in a program or something, somebody gets left out. And that I can say tonight of, talking to you ladies and stuff. And my feeling for Serenity House is very positive. It's an organization that our people in Eastern Kentucky need to support. We need to get the voice out of what you're doing and really how it's impacting people. What would you say your all's success rate is? Because you've seen a lot of mothers and children and things come in. What would you say your success rate is? Out of 10 mothers that come in a year's time, how many usually kick it? You mentioned that it would take 7 times usually on the relapse and stuff, but I've seen numbers that absolutely stagger my mind. Heroin addicts, 10% make it. So that means there's 90% of people out there that do not make it. So how is it at Serenity House and stuff?
Well, we always...
Because I know you all track that probably.
Oh, yeah, they track
The grant
it.
people like those things. Well, give me some results here, what you're doing. Yeah.
I don't remember what exactly our number is, but I would say... I'm
not going to hold your feet to the fire.
Oh, no.
No, I would just be curious.
I would say if we're looking probably at 5 years down the road, then being in long-term sobriety,
sure,
I would say that we maybe have 20%.
It's better than the norm. Yeah.
Would you say that?
1 in 5
I would
make
say
it.
that.
That's good. That's a good number. If we have that one's what counts,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, well, what do you have coming up? Anything coming up new, or are you going to be going to any conferences, this and that, where people might be able to see you, might be able to ask you questions, where you're out there in the public? We want people to know where you'll be and what you're doing so you can inform them a little bit better, not this old crazy guy here.
We will be at the Harm Reduction in Louisville, Kentucky, coming up June 20th.
So harm reduction, really? What does that mean? Explain that to me.
It is a conference where all aspects of substance abuse providers.
Okay.
They come together. They give educational information about certain aspects in addiction. There's vendors that are set up there as well.
Gotcha.
We're going to be one of the vendors there, as well as participating in educational needs. We will be at several fairs coming up, won't we?
Oh, they let you set up at the fairs and things?
Oh,
Great.
yes. We've set up at a
We'll
lot
be
of
there
fairs.
all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, this coming weekend in Perry County.
At Perry County, down in Hazard. Yeah, great, super. Well, drop by and see these ladies you want. Yeah. We have a lot of people in Hazard to listen to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can spread the
We
word.
have all kinds of goodies, aside from educational information.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we are going to Murray, Kentucky.
That's a fur piece away.
Yes.
Over in the western part, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were going over there, I think, within the next month or two.
Okay.
That our providers, our director is doing that one.
Great. Wonderful. That's super. Well, anything else you want to share with the audience or anybody like that to tell a bit about who you are or things that we missed upon? Or I know that I've not asked all the probably right questions, but if you have anything, as far as a statement that you'd like to say to people out there, now's your time to do that. So.
I would like to say, with our people in substance abuse, just have a kind of positive interactions with them. They are really going through some trying times. They're trying to do better, but it really hurts them to get kicked down whenever they don't need that. They need to be lifted up. And we are always here for them people. Morning, noon, and night.
Yeah. Our facility is open 24/7.
Okay.
We take referrals. And someone's always there to answer the phone. 606.
Now, you answered the phone today, Tiffany, didn't you?
I did.
I thought you did.
I
Yeah.
did,
Yeah. I recognize your voice.
Yeah.
Huh?
I can't escape it. It's very 606-298-4872 is our phone number.
Great.
Anybody that meets our very few prerequisites, that is, you have you're pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 3. We can even go over that sometimes with pre-approval.
Sure.
From our director Terry. And insurance, even if you don't have insurance, programs like Unite and things out here, give us a call if you need us.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. Grants and all that kind of stuff. You all are still working on some things coming up and all that.
Always working on that.
Right.
Always.
Grants are the lifeblood for a lot of nonprofits. I know it's a good thing. So, well, tell Terry we missed her tonight, but you guys have been great guests and filling in for you. Done a super job, and I have a greater understanding of what you do and what your gifts and abilities and talents are offering for our people here in Eastern Kentucky, and I want to commend you for that, and just keep doing what you're doing. And we appreciate you all coming by, and
thank you for having us.
yeah.
We're very grateful for this.
Well, thank you. We've got some people coming up, a gentleman from Salyer, I think will be with us next week and tell a little bit about their organization up in Pikeville and how they reach out from economic development and community impact, and maybe touch upon the political impact as well. But they'll be coming with us. And then don't forget, on the 4th Tuesday of every month, we have a session called You Asked For It. So this month is going to be Christian nationalism and what it's doing in our nation today. So I'll be sharing a lot, and Cody and Natural will be trying to shoot holes in me, I guess, or whatever I do. But we thank you all so much for coming tonight. Support this group. Ladies and gentlemen out there, they are a big part of We Are the People of Eastern Kentucky, and they do a lot of great things. And the Serenity House people, it's a mission, and it's a ministry, and they take care of people, so support them. Let them know that you're out there listening, and give us comments and any questions that you have or whatever that we can maybe take back to them. But before we go, just give us phone numbers again one more time, ladies, or email or websites or whatever, and we'll close tonight out.
They can call 606-298-4872 or email Terry, Terri, Dotson, Dotson, @mtcomp.org.
Ladies, thank you so much, and that'll be it for We the People. We'd like to thank our sponsors again tonight, and Cody usually has that list, and that's kind of the portion, but thank you for supporting We the People of Eastern Kentucky, and be back with us next week, and we'll sign off and say have a good evening, and God bless.